In our headlines this evening, Prime Minister and the Premier join nationals in New York for Thanksgiving service, and the Ministry of Finance heartened by rate of registration of new businesses. The details are straight ahead. Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, 2015. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, Premier of Nevis the Honorable Vance Emery, and Federal Minister the Honorable Ian Liburd were guests at a Thanksgiving celebration at the St. Luke's Episcopal Church in New York over the weekend. The service was held in celebration of the new St. Kitts and Nevis government and was dubbed Togetherness, a theme which was embraced by the hundreds of St. Kitts and Nevis nationals who attended. Reverend Alistair Rollins commended the new national unity government and reminded those in attendance that democracy is fostered when both the elected and the electorate do their part in nation building. He embraced the concept of a unified St. Kitts and Nevis and ended his message by invoking God's blessings on the future of the blossoming Twin Island nation. Premier Emery, who is also the senior minister in the federal government, expressed his appreciation for the opportunity to serve not just the people of Nevis but also the Federation. He vowed to do his part to improve the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis and to make the island of Nevis a better place for all its inhabitants. The Honorable Ian Patches Liburd also gave his commitment to nation building. Prime Minister Harris pledged to do his best to hold to the promises Team Unity made to St. Kitts and Nevis and expressed appreciation to all who made the Thanksgiving service a reality. The Ministry of Trade, Industry and Consumer Affairs is heartened by the rate of registration of small businesses over the last 3 years. So says Permanent Secretary Colin Doerr, who notes that there is an average of 300 registrations per year.
If we look at that as a large number and recognize that 75% will be good, 25 may fall by the wayside, then you could see over a period of time, small business would be the one which will become the economy, the catalyst for growth within our economy.
According to Doerr, the manufacturing sector is one area which is taking off.
This is our intention as an administration to push forward in that sector because we believe that in Nevis we have the creative skills to make things, and therefore what we need to do is to harness and give support to those skills. The retail sector as well is taking off, which means that more and more persons are getting into the buying and selling trade, which is a good thing. Because we believe that our people must now move from looking for employment, but instead looking to employ persons. And that's one of the stuff we are pushing from the small business end. We want our people not to see themselves coming out of school as employees, but as employers, looking to see how you can create jobs.
Doerr says, as stated in the 2015 budget presentation, this is the year for small businesses, and an ongoing workshop on computerized management accounting systems is just the start of a number of activities which will take place throughout 2015 as the Small Enterprise Development Unit continues its thrust to support small businesses.
We want to move beyond merely just giving financing, but instead to provide a support mechanism so that as to ensure the survivability of small businesses. We are aware that the most difficult time in a small business are the initial stages. So we have decided that we're going to push the Small Business Enterprise Unit beyond merely giving you financing, but being an ongoing monitoring system for you as a small business enterprise. It is our intention to ensure that all small businesses, or that start as small businesses, become a large enterprise or medium-sized enterprise, then a large enterprise somewhere in the future.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Colin Doerr. Nevis has appointed a new tourism sales representative. A release issued today says Andrew Rowe, the recently appointed Northeast sales representative with the Nevis Tourism Authority, NTA, is looking forward to contributing to the promotion and the success of both the NTA and the U.S. stakeholders. Rowe brings a plethora of experience and a 17-year successful track record. He has worked with Caribbean tourist boards and has proven to be an asset in projects including the inaugural activities for the New York to St. Kitts and the New York to St. Lucia non-stop service, the New York Times Travel Show, and the CTO's Caribbean Week Travel Expo. He was instrumental in the creation and the support of the St. Kitts and Nevis Admirals Cup Pro-Am and the Barbados Pro-Am Golf Tournaments as the business development manager for associations, groups, and meeting travel sales. As a member of American Airlines leisure sales and marketing team, he was responsible for the day-to-day sales relationships with key wholesale and tour operator accounts located exclusively in the Northeast U.S. region prior to leaving the airlines in 2014. According to the release, Rowe is ready and willing to offer up his years of experience and genius to helping in the continued efforts of the Nevis Tourism Authority as their go-to guy for the Northeast U.S. market. Coming up after the break, Nutsi releases first track for Culturama 41. Stay tuned.
And fun. Culturama 41.
Taxes are the lifeblood of a nation. Feel good about what your tax dollars do in Nevis. As a responsible citizen, your tax dollars support caring for the elderly. Pay your taxes on time. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis.
Be a responsible citizen. Welcome back. The Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan, reaffirmed its support to the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force in a recent significant handing over ceremony at the Taiwan Embassy in Bastia. Taiwanese Ambassador to St. Kitts and Nevis, His Excellency George Gao Wei Chiao, presented a check in the amount of $3,500 to Assistant Commissioner of Police Ian Creeley in the presence of the Deputy Consular to the Ambassador Eugene Shu, Inspector Lyndon David, and media officials. The financial donation will be used to assist in defraying costs associated with the hosting of the 30th edition of the Annual General Meeting and Association of Caribbean Commissioners of Police Conference to be held from May 11th to 14th. Ambassador Chiao indicated that the handing over of the check is a symbol of his willingness to continue to assist the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force and work initiated by his predecessor, Ambassador Miguel Sao. ACP Creeley, in accepting the donation, expressed his appreciation to the government and people of the Republic of China on Taiwan for their continued support to the development of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, and said the donation will certainly enhance the quality of the product that will be delivered at the conference. The Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority has made changes to its daily operations in terms of the days and the times of garbage collection. Newly appointed General Manager of the Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority, Andrew Hendrickson, gave details of the new schedule for Charlestown and the surrounding areas.
The area that would be cleaned on a Tuesday morning would be Charlestown first, then Craddock Road and the Ramsbury area. On Wednesday morning, we'll be looking at cleaning Charlestown first and then Bath Village and the Farms area in the same order. On Thursday morning, it would be Charlestown again at 4 a.m. and then we'll work our way to the Stony Grove and the Hamilton area the same way it happened with the old schedule, except now we are starting early in the morning. Then Friday morning, we will be repeating the Craddock Road and Charlestown, and Craddock Road, Charlestown, Ramsbury would be done. And then on Saturday morning, we'll be doing Charlestown, Bath Village and Farms. Then Sunday morning, we'll be doing Charlestown, Stony Grove and the Hamilton area.
Operations Manager Dennis Brown explained why changes were made to the schedule.
The reason for this is to actually accommodate Charlestown, especially where we spotted the problem. Charlestown used to clean like say 6 o'clock in the evening, 6 to 7. You'll find the garbage truck already gone through, and then some activity in town might still accumulate some more garbage. And then you find when you come in the morning to go to work, you find Charlestown look as if it never cleaned. So that was one of the aim, to make sure when 8 o'clock for business, Charlestown is spick and span.
Brown noted that the scheduled days for the rest of the island remain the same, but collection commences at 4 a.m. while the afternoon shift begins at noon. And finally,
come and join me. Culturama party. I tell you to wine, 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 wine. Roll, 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 roll. Grind, 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 grind. Choke, 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 choke. Wine and something, grind and something, walk and something, roll and something, wine and something, grind and something, push back and something, jam and something.
media houses across the Federation yesterday received the first Culturama 41 track, which was released by last year's second runner-up in the Senior Kaiser Monarch contest, Bernard Notsy Thompson. The track, entitled Wine and Something, is being described as an infectious musical voyage set around the Juve morning activity.
Wine and Something. It's like Juve morning. Picture Juve morning. People dancing in the road. You understand? For me, Wine and Something will be a good thing rather than any violence. If you feel like you need to create some kind of violence, just think about it. Rather than any violence, a lot of pretty women in the band. Just wine and something.
The Calypsonian spoke about how and why he was able to release the music in April.
After the show, the final Calypso show, what we do, we normally go home and we look over, you know what I mean, what we did wrong, what we could have, you know, and then at the same time, we look to move forward into the future, which is the next year. So we discuss all them things. And one of the things that we really had set up is to do some new strategy. That came out of that discussion. New strategy. So releasing early, I have never released as early as I do. And for me, I tell myself, born in April, rather than release in May, release in April. That is something new. You understand?
The artist, who hails from Brown Hill, thanks his manager Glenroy Branchett and close associates, including music arranger Abernathy Liebert, backup singer Nayela Daniel, and hornsman Malvern Gums for their support. Chairman of the Calypso Subcommittee Keith Glasgow welcomes the release of this first track for the festival and commends Notsy.
I heard some of it yesterday, and well, I've been hearing it, you know, today, and I feel straight up that it is a hit. And I hope that I'm not putting myself in any trouble here, because I know other Calypsonians would be coming with hits as well. If you release by the end of May, you would be able to get $500 compliments the Culturama committee, and that $500 would go towards the recording. So we are providing incentives for assistance with recording. We are also giving the first Kaisonian to release $500 for being the first, and so it would appear that Notsy would take that prize.
Notsy noted that he has 2 other songs that will be released shortly. That's it for this evening's edition of the Nevis Newscast. Thank you for viewing. Good night.